How about Justin Fields possibly falling to the Denver Broncos? Is that a possibility? I'm going to go with a bit more likely in light of the Sam Darnold trade to the Carolina Panthers. Now, NFL Network's James Palmer said the Broncos have interest in the event that Fields falls to the number 9 pick. And there's kind of some growing buzz and connections and speculation that, hey, maybe Fields slides a little bit on draft night. Now remember, Drew Lock, of course, is still the incumbent quarterback for the Denver Broncos. He's also been not great. So if you were able to get Fields for Denver, that intrigues me quite a bit. So pick a quarterback for me. Who would you take? Type DL for Drew Lock or type JF for Justin Fields. For me, it's pretty easy. It's Justin Fields. I had him graded much higher coming out relative to Drew Lock in college, and Lock has been not that great in the NFL. I am a big fan of Justin Fields, the prospect. And I know there's been the claims out there of, hey, he moved off his first read 7 or 11 times this year. Folks, if Justin Fields threw to his first read almost every single time and put up this caliber of production, Fields is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Because you limit yourself if you only went to one read and didn't move off it. Because then the defense would know, just cover the first guy. So that claim, it's a lie, guys. Fields, as a prospect, is an easy round 1 grade for me. Yes, there are concerns. He does lock on that first read too long. Tends to be a bit delayed to throw it. Part of the offense at Ohio State. He has the arm. The accuracy is great, by the way. Needs to throw better anticipation, but he's a great athlete. You gamble on that guy top 10 every single time, especially when your other quarterback is this. It's not that good. Now, could Drew Lock have a breakout year? Sure could. Sure could. But if you were to ask the Denver Broncos when they took Drew Lock, hey, do you want Drew Lock, or I can promise you a quarterback in round 1 that you have a first-round grade on? They would take the latter. And the latter is Justin Fields. He might not be a success. He might bust, as all players, of course, could at some point. But the Denver Broncos, if they could get Justin Fields, is something that they should absolutely consider. And I'm kind of tired of the Justin Fields hate because he plays for Ohio State. I get their quarterbacks have been bad. There's been one other guy who went in round 1. It's a small sample size there. So from that perspective, if I'm Denver and Fields is there, it's a no-brainer. He's my pick at number 9. More Denver Broncos quarterback talk, of course, right? No surprise there. Drew Lock, of course, remains the incumbent. There is a report, however, from about Drew Lock, and from Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick says the Broncos are trying to trade up for a quarterback. Now, Dan Patrick is a household name. He has had some misses on these sourced reports of late. I'll also make a note that as it relates to trading for a quarterback, James Palmer of NFL Network says that the Broncos look at a veteran option, be it a Jimmy Garoppolo or Teddy Bridgewater, who we'll get to in just a second. Now, I think at minimum, the Denver Broncos are trying to push Drew Lock. They don't want just Lock and Brett Rippon and Jefferson. They want more than just those 3 guys on their quarterback depth chart. So I think there are 4 names that make sense for them to trade up for, or trade for, I should say. 2 in the draft, Justin Fields, who we've mentioned earlier, and Trey Lance. I would gamble on Lance, but he might need a year, so that's a bit iffy there. The veterans, Jimmy Garoppolo. The Niners allegedly want a 1. That's not something I really want to do. Teddy Bridgewater, however, has been traded, or has been, the Panthers traded for Sam Darnold, and I think a Bridgewater trade, if a team wants him, is very possible. However, his $17 million base salary is a bit of an issue. Denver doesn't want to pay that. If they bring it down, it could be a fit. Now, as for the draft side of it here, look, Jags, Jets, Niners. Those three teams are going quarterback. Whatever, it's Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Lance Fields at 3. The Falcons could also go quarterback at number 4. The Cincinnati Bengals will not. Dolphins will not. Don't think Lions do. Panthers don't either. So unless a team trades up, thanks to that Sam Darnold trade by the Jets and Panthers, all of a sudden, the Broncos at 9 are in a good spot if they want to go quarterback. They might not have to go quarterback. They could maybe try and stand pat, or if a team doesn't move up. Like, I think for Denver, the concern is less about, Detroit or Carolina taking a quarterback, but rather a team like New England jumping ahead and taking a quarterback above them with a team like a Lions, Panthers trade down. So Denver could very well get a quarterback at 9, but if they really want one, a trade up might make the most sense to secure him. So make your predictions for me in the comments section. Who do you believe will start at quarterback for the Denver Broncos in 2020? Make your predictions right now in the comments section. Some quick training camp notes I wanted to dive into here, coming over from our good friend Peter King. And this is interesting to me. He reports the NFL is looking to make the start of training camp into a key event for the league. Remember, you have the NFL draft, right, in late April, the scouting combine in February, NFL free agency in March. All the months have something big there. Not so much when we get to July. So the NFL is at least considering taking this approach. If you guys are familiar with the whole Midnight Madness thing for college basketball, when all the scrimmages and practices all get going, right? The NFL is considering doing something similar, where they would be able to have 28 teams start camp on July 27th, which is an interesting pitch for the NFL. Now, of the 4 teams who would not do it, you're thinking the 2 teams who are going to play on the Hall of Fame game and the 2 teams playing in the Thursday Night Opener, so the ones who actually play games earlier get a slightly earlier start. But this is worth monitoring. Now, the flip side here is that it's just the start of practice. So I don't think the NFL would be able to spin it into a whole massive event. However, with the backing of NFL Network, I'm sure ESPN would get on board. You might be able to make it a media creation, which point, you know what? At least we have football back at that point. So I am very curious to see what the path is here for the NFL. But keep an eye out for this move coming probably after the draft officially. NFL camps get going on July 27th, and then they make some major, trying to make it, I should say, a fairly giant NFL-focused training camp, Midnight Madness type of move. So we'll see that actually ends up happening, but keep an eye on it for in the not-too-distant future.